Hmm. There's got to be something in here that makes me fall down all the time. Whoa!
Good morning, folks. So today we're in the garage. We're not behind the handlebars. We are going to start off with this is probably going to be quite a few episodes. I am rebuilding the motor from a KTM 950 Adventure, and some things about this motor. They call it the LC8. I think the 8 stands for 8 valves. Um, because the single cylinder has 4 valves. That's called the LC4. But I could be talking out of my ass. I don't know. But we're going to jump right into this. Here's the motor. That's actually the front cylinder right there. There's the rear cylinder. Sprocket. That's the bottom. What does the bottom of a motorcycle motor look like? Well, there it is. So the first cylinder that we work on is going to be the rear cylinder. Although that doesn't seem intuitive, that's the way KTM's manual says to do it. So let's get started. Of course, we start by taking the valve cover off. Oh, go get that socket. Run away, socket. Okay, we want to lift this spark plug tube out. We can take a screwdriver on each side and gently lift it, and that comes out. All of these gaskets, these O-rings will be changed in here. Now we're going to bring it to top dead center. The spark plugs are in. I'm going to take those out so it's easier to turn the motor over. Get to top dead center. There's a few things we want to look at. There are marks on the cam gears. We'll find them when we bring it to top dead center. Oh, there's one right there. And there's the other two right there. But what that's for right now, this cylinder here is in overlap. We're going to turn okay, this is from the left side of the bike. This is the front cylinder. We're going to turn the motor counterclockwise. And as unintuitive as that feels, okay, we're going to bring the rear cylinder to top dead center. What I usually do is I look at the cam lobes, and as it looks like it's getting close, I will take this screwdriver just to feel where top dead center is, and then I'll put the locking pin in as I'm turning. Okay, you see that? I'm sorry, I had my flashlight in my mouth. It's little like this. So now this found a notch in the crankshaft counterweight, and this is the special locking pin we're going to install to keep the rear cylinder locked at top dead center. Now this is not very strong. This pin. I mean, the pin is stronger than the block itself, but we're going to just test it. Can we turn the block? Oh, yeah. So it's not completely completely locked. What I'm going to do is turn the motor over again to get that completely locked in. Let me back it out a little bit first. So it's definitely not getting in the way. Okay, it's on overlap now. Actually, I'm going to take this out and use the screwdriver method again. Okay. Okay. Okay, there it is. It's locked in. So I'll tighten this off camera and prepare this rear cylinder head for removal and then I'll come back. So here's something. We're not just going to just get a wrench on this and take everything off. What we do need to do is record the valve clearance on each of the valves, so we know when we put it back together, we get the shims in the correct position. And even though this takes a little bit of an extra step, we're just going to do that so we don't have a problem. And if any of these valves are out of adjustment, we can correct it as we put it back together. Okay, so technically this rear cylinder is considered cylinder number 1, and this is considered cylinder number 2. I put this on here because this is more intuitive as calling this cylinder number 2, and we'll call that cylinder number 1. But it is a good thing that I did check these valve clearances, because we have 0 clearance on this valve right here. And this, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to check the service manual, but I think the spec for this is 10 to 15, and we have 0.076, and the spec for these is 0.25 to 0.33, if I am not mistaken again. And those are within spec, but which is odd because it's usually the exhaust valves that are out. But we'll correct that upon reassembly. For now, we're going to continue with removing the cylinder head and the cylinder. So once we have the valve cover off, the crankshaft is locked on cylinder number 1. We can begin taking the camshafts out, which we'll start with the camshaft carrier here. And then once this is off, we'll work on taking the combination gear out. Yeah, so let's loosen these, and then we'll completely remove it. Best to unfasten these in a star pattern. This is pretty easy. Once these are loose, you can just buzz these off. And then we can take the cam bearings off. Okay. Also, before I completely take the cams out, I'm going to note the position. Oh, look at that. This looks like it might have been out before. These did not move at all. So if that's a TDC, Why are these? Okay, I'll figure that out on the assembly, but that's not where it's supposed to be. You see that dot and that dot there. There's another dot here, but I think that's for the when that cam is used in the front cylinder. Okay, next we can take the tensioner out. Now once the tensioner is out, we have to measure the uncompressed distance, like only the spring action between, including the washer. I guess we screw this in until we start to feel chain tension. I wonder what's going on there. It's really shallow. Maybe it's just bad. We'll take this tensioner out and see what's going on here. Okay. It moves freely. So the measurement should be between 6 and 11 millimeters, and it looks at about 7. So I think we're doing pretty good there. And what we're measuring there, and why we're measuring it, is for the timing chain rail that goes right here. It's a plastic rail inside the block that we'll get to once we take the head off. Okay, next we're going to take the pinion out for the combination gear. This unbolts. We're going to want to change this O-ring. I'll get a little pick later. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Take the bolt out, take the pinion out, and this will not fall down into the crankcase because the opening is too narrow. Let's put this in a safe place, and then we'll take that gear off, and then we can get this gear off, and we can continue to take the cylinder off. Well, okay. So they have that little hub there you can rest it on, the chain on. It's not going to be detrimental to try to keep the chain from falling down in there, because once we get everything out, the chain, the wheel that or the gear that the chain rides on is just right below here, so it's not going to be that difficult to access. So believe it or not, even at this extent where we have so we have the cams out, we have the combination gear out, we are very close to having the cylinder and head off. Cylinder and the head come off as one unit on this, and the reason being is because of this bolt right here. It can probably be fought with to loosen, if you're just going to take the head off. But ideally, if you're going to loosen all of these bolts here and here and here, it's going to release any pressure on the cylinder base. And if you do put it all back together without changing the cylinder base gasket and only change the head gasket, you will have leaks at the cylinder base. Okay, so we got to get these loose. Okay. And then there's this one under here. Okay. That's loose. And then we'll work in a star pattern, 2, 3, 4, to loosen the others. Okay. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Cylinder assembly is loose. So this has studs on it. Once I get all the nuts out, I am going to use a magnet to remove the washers. The washers are they're in there. We'll get back to those. Some may need a pick to get them out, especially when there's dirt on here. And I'm not complaining about the dirt. It's nice to see somebody ride the motorcycle. This is from a 05 or an 06 Adventure S. So what I'm trying to say is it's nice to see that somebody rides the motorcycle for its intended use. Okay, I'll get that one washer out off screen and then come back when it's time to lift the cylinder up. Can't forget these chrome plated 10mm acorn nuts. End washers. My trusty magnet. So we're going to tap this until it starts to break free from the block, which, yeah, it's doing. Coming along nicely. Do you see that? That tells me it's coming up. So we're not going to completely remove this at first. Okay, there's about 10mm gap in there. What we're going to do is lift it far enough until we can view the the piston wrist pin. So the wrist pin is right now, because this cylinder is at top dead center. Oh, look at that oil come down. Oh, look at that. It came out all the way anyway. That's okay. We can work with that. I have to take the piston out anyway because I'm changing the rings. Back to this. Okay, so there's the wrist pin retaining clip. What I do is I'll put an extension in there, like a 3/8 drive extension, and then that way I won't lose the clip. And I pull this out. Okay. A good idea whether, I mean, I'm rebuilding the engine, so it's not going to matter a whole lot, is to put a rag around here to keep from losing the wrist pin inside the engine. You know, a couple of hours and a magnet might help you find it, but you really don't want to go through that. So now you can push the wrist pin out from the other side. The thing about this extension is, oh, it's caught on my glove. That's why it's not coming out. Is that it's okay. We can leave the wrist pin in there for now. Okay. I'm going to continue on to take that cylinder off, and once that's off, I'll get into further disassembly, and I'll catch up with all you then. So now that I have the cylinder off, I want to prepare this to rotate to get that cylinder at top dead center. So what I did, I put some rubber bands through the wrist pin hole to keep the connecting rod centered. As it goes down, it will not interfere with any forging marks or any parts on the block that might hang up on the big end of the connecting rod. Something else you have to consider, this timing chain, you need to hold this up now. This is, you don't want this to get caught on any surface inside the block where it's going to bunch up, where you can't disassemble it. Again, we're going to go counterclockwise. Let's get this chain, hold it up, and as we turn the crank, we're going to see that the connecting rod on the rear cylinder is going down nicely. And then as we watch the front cylinder come around, the cam lobes are nearing top dead center. Let's remove this, and then we can use this 4mm Allen as we did with the screwdriver for the rear cylinder. Counterclockwise. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to take the valve clearance specifications, and we're going to do everything on this front cylinder that we did on the rear. And I will come back with the front cylinder already removed.
Hey folks, thanks a lot for watching. If you liked what you just saw, please click on that thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be reminded when my next video comes out.